Hey guys, Patrick with NerdGlow here to talk to you about yet another great game you can play on your laptop, your PC, whatever, and you can probably snag it for cheap. This week we're talking about Papers, Please. Before we get started, I just want to go over some of the basics I was taught through my history classes. Alright, so in the 1940s, Japanese people were bad, Germans were good, Russians were bad until they were good, right? And then in the 50s, the Russians were really bad. In the 60s, Vietnam teamed up with the Russians to be bad then, and basically the Russians were consistently bad until, like, the USSR went away. Then Iran, Afghanistan, Saudi Arabia popped up in, like, the 90s, and then they're the new bad guys now, right? That's the spark notes of it all. Now, if what I just said sounded stupid, then I'm very proud of myself because that's the one time I actually intended to be stupid. We tend to look at history as one great big overarching story with good guys and bad guys, us versus them stuff, and we don't really stop to think about gray in there. Well, here's Papers, Please, a game that hopes to introduce some of that gray area into your thoughts. And I'm not just saying that because it's a game in black and white. Papers, Please came out in August 2013 and immediately made a splash in the gaming sphere due to its strange premise along with the fact that the game was developed by one dude, Lucas Pope. Cool name. But onto the weird premise. Papers, Please puts you in the shoes, combat boots, of an immigration inspector stationed at the gates to the border of the fictional, presumably Eastern European country Arstotzka. And you proceed through each level by certifying that each immigrant is cleared to move through the country. Simple enough. Well, all of the complexity of the game comes from the periphery of the experience. Each level starts with a brief taste of the state of the country by displaying the newspaper headline of the day before you're greeted with a memo that presents you with the rules of the day. Essentially, this memo warns you of the new ball you'll be juggling as you clear or deny immigrants for entry into Great Arstotzka. Some memos will require that you search every immigrant from certain countries due to suspicions of national terrorism. Other days you will need to be on the lookout for a spy or diplomat that's planning to enter the country. The strongest curveballs come from the people who pop up at your window. Mostly, they play a consistent part in the game, lining up against the backdrop as you cross-reference all of their documents to make sure they're valid. But every now and then, one of them might clarify that they're going to visit their dying mother, or that you had just cleared their husband for entry. Almost always, these characters will have some disqualifying paperwork that you'll either choose to ignore for their sake, or you can continue to keep your head down and listen to the orders enforced by your governmental higher-ups. And if you don't listen to the rules set by your higher-ups, well, you're likely going to lose a good amount of your daily paycheck, which results in your family growing cold, sick, and tired before dying. So this game is like the saddest version of The Sims ever. Many times, immigrants will bribe you one way or another to allow them into the city or to prohibit some specific character who will be arriving later from entering. Most interesting though is when you inevitably become somewhat involved in the mysterious uprising fueled by EZIC, an anti-government organization. As the game progresses, you find yourself conflicted in deciding over a entry or deny stamp on the passport of the person in front of you. You make choices that are colored by your own personal views of morality. For instance, after a terrorist attack, you're asked to subject suspicious immigrants to naked body scans in order to search for contraband. It's funny how dirty I felt subjecting these characters to such scans because, well, look at them. But I did. And I think that speaks of the game's effective narrative. What's the right way to play this game? To take care of yourself and only stick to the regulations laid before you, ignoring any pleas from any of the characters you're presented with? I mean, that's likely the only way you keep your E-family alive in this game? Or do you use your own moral parameters to decide which people and which causes to support? Well, whenever you find out the answer, please let me know, because I still feel really guilty for turning this guy away. So check it out. Again, Papers, Please is a super atypical game, and while I thought cross-checking documents wouldn't be fun or engaging, the game proved me wrong. And from time to time, you do actually get to shoot at people trying to border jump. But don't worry, you can use a trank gun if you don't want to be a total asshole. Again, moral choices. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll be putting up more videos as time goes by, so feel free to subscribe below, or if you'd like to check out and read a wide swath of cool content, head over to nerdglow.com to read some of those great articles written by some awesome people, including me.